Hey everybody, it's me Chris. I'm back over here in the kitchen. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel, DJViolent Family Recipes. And today I'm making eggplant parmesan. And I got my eggplant here. I'll start with this. And when you're buying your eggplants, you want a nice green top. And you want to make sure that they're nice and firm. You don't want a mushy eggplant. So I'll show you how I'm going to get this thing ready here. I'm going to cut off both ends. And then I'm going to use my chef knife. You could use a vegetable peeler. But I'm going to come down and shave all the skin off this eggplant. Okay, so my eggplant is skinned. And I'm just going to cut about 1/4 inch circles. You can cut this in any shape you want. I like to cut it in circles. Okay, so I laid out my eggplant on my cutting board here. And I'm just going to salt these. I'm just going to sprinkle some kosher salt on both sides. Alright, you don't need a lot. Just enough to lightly coat it, and I'll flip them over and do the same thing on the other side. So once your eggplant is salted on both sides, you want to place it in a strainer like this, and you notice I have a bowl under here to catch the moisture. And the purpose of salting it is it's going to draw out all the excess moisture in the eggplant and take out some of the bitterness, and it's going to give you a really nice texture. Alright, so on my eggplant drains, I'm going to work on my breadcrumb mixture. And I'm in the habit of making my own breadcrumbs lately, but today I'm just using the store-bought here. And for one eggplant, I'm probably going to use about 3 cups of breadcrumbs. I want to just make sure I have more than enough. And I'll put a nice pinch of kosher salt. Just a little bit of onion powder. I'm going to put some fresh cracked black pepper. And then you can put as much or as little as you want. I'll add some garlic powder. And that's about 1½ teaspoons. And some extra Italian seasoning. And then the last ingredient here is some grated cheese. Today I'm using a Grana Padano, but I want to put at least about 1 cup of cheese. So that's enough cheese. And I'm just going to mix this really well and set it aside till we're ready. So one last thing I want to add to my breadcrumbs, just some fresh chopped parsley. I'll throw that right in and mix it in. Alright, so my breadcrumbs look great. And to bread the eggplant, we're going to do a classic breading. We're going to do flour, egg, and breadcrumbs. I'm just going to whisk these eggs up. Alright, so before I start breading my eggplant, I just want to get my pan set up. And I'm using a large non-stick skillet. And I'm going to fry the eggplant in some extra virgin olive oil. And I want just enough to coat the bottom of the pan. Alright, so I think my eggplant's ready. About 15-20 minutes with the salt in it. And you can feel the textures change. It's not really hard. It's a little bit softer because it's lost some of the moisture. And you can see some of the stuff that's come out on the bottom. So I think this is good. So I'm getting ready to bread my eggplant. And I'm going to start heating up the oil. And I got this on medium high. Alright, so I'm ready to bread my eggplant. By the time I'm done, my oil should be nice and hot. And what I like to do is use this big plate like this. And I'll move over the breadcrumbs and make some room. I'm going to lay the breaded finished ones on the side here. And basically what I do is I'll go about 2 at a time and dip them in the flour first. Then into the egg mixture. And I'm going to keep one hand clean. So for me, my left hand is going to be in the egg. And my right hand is going to remain clean. I put it into the breadcrumbs. I'll put the other one in as well. And just use my clean hand to cover the top. I'll press it and then flip it. And make sure I get both sides really nicely coated. And again, I'll just set it to the side and continue breading the rest of the eggplant. My eggplant's all breaded and my oil's really nice and hot. Just watch your temperature because the olive oil can burn. And the way to test it is to just sprinkle some breadcrumbs in there. And you could see a nice sizzle there. And so it's ready to go. I'll actually just turn the heat up a tiny little bit. And I'll start to lay in my eggplant. Okay, so I started flipping these in 2-3 minutes per side. And what you're looking for is a nice golden brown. And you'll have to keep an eye on them and move them around to make sure they all cook evenly. Alright, so these look pretty good. I think the first batch is cooked. Both sides are nice and golden brown. And what you want to do is transfer these to a pan lined with paper towels. And we'll cook the second batch next. But you want to keep an eye on your oil level. If your oil gets too low, because some of it will be absorbed into the breading, you want to just add a little bit more. If not, you can just continue cooking if you think you have enough. Alright, so my eggplant's all fried and we're ready to go. And you could just serve it like that. I mean, once you fry that eggplant, it is absolutely delicious. In fact, fried eggplant is one of the reasons why I'll never wear slim fit clothes. But that's my problem. So take a look. I got my eggplant here. I'm going to show you how to assemble the eggplant parm. What I'm going to do is, I got my sauce here. And what really, I think, separates my eggplant parm from some others is that I use my leftover Sunday gravy. So this is packed with flavor. I usually make a big pot of sauce on Sundays and I save it in the freezer and I use it for my eggplant parm or chicken parm. So I'm using this as opposed to just plain marinara. And the first thing I gotta do is just layer the bottom of the pan with some of the sauce. Alright, so this looks pretty good. Now I'm ready for my eggplant. Now, a lot of people like to layer the eggplant and put layers of cheese and sauce. I don't like to do it that way. I like to kind of shingle it in, and I'll work from the back towards the camera just to show you. I like to shingle it and lay it in like that in one single layer. Alright, so you see what I did here? Nice one layer, shingled it in. And I just feel like when you layer it, it's more like a lasagna than it is an eggplant parm. And I want to try to maintain a little bit of the texture. So what I'm going to do is come in with my sauce and just lay it right down the middle of each line of this eggplant. Okay, so my sauce is down, and now I'm going to hit this with some more of the grated cheese. In this case, it's the Grana Padano. And I'll just go right on top of the sauce. Next, I got the fresh mozzarella. And I'm going to go right down the center, just like this. This is thin sliced, pre-sliced fresh mozzarella. And I'll do the same on the other layer, on the other line of eggplant. So that looks pretty good. I'll just fill in this space here. All right, and the last thing I'll do, I'm just going to drizzle just a tiny bit of extra virgin olive oil on top of the cheese. And that's enough. And just a little bit of Italian seasoning, and I'm going to season it from high so I don't get big clumps, and that looks pretty good. Alright, so this looks really good. Now the last step in making our eggplant parmesan, I'm going to bake it. I got a nice hot oven. I'm preheating it to 400 degrees. I'm going to bake it just until the cheese is really nice and melted and starts to get a little bit brown on top. Alright, so half hour, 45 minutes, my eggplant parm is ready. Alright, so my eggplant parm is done. I'm just going to cut a nice big piece and plate this up and we'll give it a try. Alright, so I plated up my eggplant parm. Now it's time to try it. And I made some toast here with some Italian bread. I'll give this a try. Really unbelievable. It's phenomenal. And you know, the real key here is salting the eggplant before you bread it. And I didn't always do that. My mom didn't do that. But you know, the great thing about cooking is that you learn something new every day. And I've had a lot of eggplant parm, a lot of fried eggplant, and I've just learned that it really makes a difference in terms of the texture and how it fries. So salting it is essential. Also, the use of the leftover Sunday sauce packs it with flavor. I mean, really one of the great dishes you can make at home. You got to try this eggplant parm recipe. Also, go check out my Sunday gravy recipe. See how I make my sauce. You're going to really, really love it. Hey, thanks for watching the video. I'll see you next time.